Alina stood at the front gates of Belridge Academy, holding her backpack tight. The school was huge, with tall white buildings, wide green lawns, and shiny black cars pulling up one after another. Kids stepped out wearing expensive shoes, designer backpacks, and talking on the newest phones. Alina looked down at her worn-out sneakers and took a deep breath. She had never felt more out of place. Alina was 13, quiet, kind, and smart. She lived in a small apartment on the edge of the city with her mom, Rosa. Rosa worked as a maid for one of the rich families whose daughter, Savannah, also went to this school. Thanks to a special program for employees' children, Alina had earned a full scholarship to attend Belridge. It was a chance to get a better education, one Rosa had dreamed of for her daughter. Alina was grateful. But she was also scared. Everything here felt too fancy, too different. Inside the school, the hallways were bright and spotless. The walls had framed artwork and gold plaques with student names and awards. Alina kept her head low and walked quickly to her first class. Savannah, on the other hand, walked through the halls like she owned the place. She had perfect hair, perfect nails, and a crowd of friends always around her. Everyone laughed at her jokes, even when they weren't funny. She didn't notice Alina yet, but that would change soon. Alina hoped she could just blend in, make it through her first day without anyone asking too many questions. She didn't want anyone to know her secret. She didn't want them to know that the woman who cleaned their houses was her mother. For the first few days, Alina kept to herself. She sat in the back of the classroom, took careful notes, and always finished her homework on time. She ate lunch alone, usually under a tree near the back of the field where no one paid attention to her. She didn't mind, she just wanted peace. But peace didn't last long. One afternoon, during science class, Savannah glanced at Alina and whispered something to her friends. They all turned to look. Alina pretended not to notice. Then during lunch, it happened. Savannah strutted across the field with her group of friends, holding a smoothie in one hand. She stopped right in front of Alina. "You're the new girl, right?" Savannah asked, her voice sugary but sharp. Alina looked up and nodded.
Yeah.
Savannah tilted her head.
You look kind of familiar.
Wait, don't tell me. She snapped her fingers, pretending to think. Oh, I remember now. My maid talks about you. Rosa, right? Alina froze. Savannah smiled wider.
Yeah.
Rosa. She cleans our house. That means, you're the maid's daughter? The girls behind her started laughing. Alina felt her face burn. My mom works hard, she said quietly. Savannah shrugged.
Sure.
I'm not judging. I mean, it's kind of cute. A scholarship girl trying to fit in with the rest of us. She said it loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. From that moment on, Alina wasn't invisible anymore, but not in the way she hoped. Whispers followed her down the halls. Some kids asked if she cleaned houses too. Others made jokes about her lunch, her clothes, her shoes. She tried to keep her head down, she tried to ignore it, but it was like the whole school had been given permission to laugh at her. All because of Savannah. And Savannah was just getting started. Days turned into weeks, and the teasing didn't stop. It got worse. Alina stopped going to the field during lunch. Instead, she ate in the bathroom, sitting on the closed lid of a toilet, her food balanced on her lap. The sound of girls laughing outside the stalls made her stomach twist. Sometimes they talked about her, not knowing she was there. Other times they knew, and laughed louder on purpose. At home, her mom noticed the change. "You're quiet lately," Rosa said one night while folding laundry. "Is everything okay at school?" Alina hesitated. She wanted to tell her. She wanted to say how every day felt like walking into a storm. But she didn't want to make her mom feel guilty or worried. Rosa had enough stress already, working 2 jobs, cleaning other people's houses, and still trying to make sure Alina had a better life. So Alina forced a smile and said, "I'm just tired." Rosa nodded, but the worry stayed in her eyes. At school, Alina started to fall behind. She was still smart, still tried her best, but the weight of being watched, whispered about, and laughed at was too much. She stopped raising her hand in class. Her eyes stayed on the floor. She spoke only when she had to. One teacher, Miss Diaz, began to notice. Miss Diaz was the kind of teacher who remembered birthdays and left sticky notes with kind words on desks. One day after class, she stopped Alina as she tried to slip out. Alina, she said gently, you've been really quiet lately. If something's going on, you can talk to me, okay? Alina nodded quickly, but didn't say a word. Miss Diaz didn't push. Just know I'm here, she added. Alina walked away, but the words stuck with her. Someone had noticed. Still, she stayed silent. She didn't want to be a problem. She just wanted to disappear. It was a rainy Wednesday when someone finally sat next to Alina during lunch. She was in the library, hiding behind a shelf, quietly nibbling on a sandwich, when Jaden slid into the seat across from her. He was in her math class, part of Savannah's popular crowd, but different. He didn't laugh at her or join in the bullying. Most days he just stayed quiet. Hey, he said, pulling out a sandwich of his own. Mind if I sit here? Alina blinked, surprised. Sure. They ate in silence for a while. Then Jaden pulled out his notebook. Miss Pratt gave me a C on my homework again. You always get A's. Think you could explain this part to me? Alina hesitated, then leaned over and showed him the formula. He listened carefully, nodding, and even cracked a small joke that made her laugh for the first time in days. After that, he started showing up more often. In the library. Near her locker, even during group projects. At first, Alina didn't trust it. Was this some kind of trick? But Jaden never teased her. He never brought up her mom or acted weird about where she came from. In fact, he seemed normal. One day after class, he walked beside her and said, "You're smarter than most of the people at this school. Don't let Savannah mess with your head." Alina looked at him, startled. You know what she's doing? Jaden sighed. Everyone knows. Most of them are just too scared to say anything. She looked down. Why are you talking to me then? He shrugged. Because it's wrong. And because you're actually cool, even if no one sees it yet. Alina felt something warm grow in her chest. Maybe not everyone was cruel. But the feeling didn't last long. Jaden looked around and leaned closer. Just be careful, he whispered. Savannah's planning something. I heard her talking to Maya in the hallway. She said she's going to make sure the maid's kid knows her place. Alina's heart sank. Jaden looked at her with concern. You don't deserve this, Alina. But deep down, she knew whatever Savannah was planning, it was going to hurt. And it was coming soon. It happened on a Friday. The day started like any other. Alina walked into school with her hoodie up, eyes low, trying to go unnoticed. She made it through her first few classes in silence. But as soon as she reached her locker after lunch, something felt off. People were staring. Whispers followed her, and a few students even took out their phones. Her stomach tightened. Slowly she turned the lock on her locker. When the door swung open, her heart dropped. Inside was a cheap, messy makeup bag, with a bright pink sticky note stuck to it. On the note, in bold red letters, were the words, "You'll never be one of us. Stop pretending." The hallway burst into laughter. Savannah stood a few feet away with her phone out, pretending to cover her mouth like she was so shocked. Oh no. Savannah said dramatically. Someone left a makeover kit for the maid's daughter. How thoughtful. Laughter exploded. Alina felt the heat rise in her face. Her eyes burned, her hands trembled. Her book slipped from her arms and crashed to the floor. Someone kicked one across the hall. She couldn't move. She couldn't speak. She just ran. She didn't stop until she reached the girls' bathroom at the end of the hall. She locked herself in a stall and slid to the floor, trying not to make a sound. But the tears came fast, and the shaking wouldn't stop. She felt small. She felt broken. A few minutes later, there was a knock on the stall door. Alina, it's Miss Diaz. Can I come in? Alina stayed quiet. I know you're in there. Miss Diaz said gently. You don't have to say anything. I just want you to know. I saw what happened. And I'm sorry. Silence. Then Miss Diaz added, "You didn't do anything wrong." Something about those words made the tears come even harder. Eventually Alina came out. Her face was red and puffy. But Miss Diaz didn't say a word about it. She just walked her to the office and let her sit in peace for the rest of the day. Across the school, Jaden was furious. He had seen the prank too, and he knew exactly who had done it. That night, he sent Savannah a message. "You think this is funny? You're going to regret this." Savannah didn't take it seriously. But karma was already on its way. The weekend came, and Savannah threw the biggest birthday party of the year. Her house was huge. 3 stories, with a pool in the backyard, a chocolate fountain, and a DJ blasting music loud enough to shake the windows. She wore a glittery dress, and made sure every moment was captured on video for social media. Everything had to look perfect. But Savannah made one big mistake. She decided to live stream the whole party on her phone. As she walked through the crowd, laughing and flipping her hair, she gave a tour of her fabulous life. She showed off her closet, her makeup station, and her new shoes. People in the chat were amazed. But then in the background of one shot, someone appeared. It was Rosa, Alina's mom. She was wearing her uniform, carrying a basket of laundry, quietly working in the hallway, behind Savannah. She didn't know she was being filmed. But the internet did. Within minutes, the live stream clips started spreading. People began to comment. "Why is your maid working during your birthday party? You made fun of her daughter at school. Wow, this is gross." The comments got meaner. Viewers started sharing screenshots, tagging the school's social media pages, and even emailing the principal. By the next morning, the video had gone viral within the school community. Parents saw it. Teachers saw it. Even news blogs began talking about the rich girl who bullied her maid's daughter. At school on Monday, Savannah's smile was gone. Her parents were waiting at the front office, looking furious. The principal called her into a meeting. The school counselor joined, so did Miss Diaz. Alina was called in later, but this time not to be blamed. She was asked to share everything that had happened. All the bullying. All the pranks. Even the note in her locker. This time people listened. That afternoon, Savannah was suspended for 2 weeks for bullying and harassment. Her parents apologized to Rosa in person and promised to make things right. Some of Savannah's friends even turned on her. Embarrassed to be part of her circle. Alina didn't smile when she heard. But she felt something deep inside her shift. She wasn't invisible anymore. People finally saw the truth. And Savannah, she learned what it felt like to be the one people whispered about. For the first time since she arrived at Belridge. Alina walked through the school halls without feeling ashamed. People still stared, but differently now. A few students nodded at her. Others gave small smiles. Even some of Savannah's old friends looked guilty, like they weren't sure what to say. But one person did say something. "Savannah." It happened in the library, a few days after she returned from suspension. Alina was shelving books for extra credit when Savannah walked in alone. No friends. No fancy makeup. Just her and a quiet look in her eyes. Alina felt her stomach twist, ready for another insult. But instead Savannah stopped in front of her and said, "Can I talk to you?" Alina blinked. "Why?" Savannah sighed and looked down. "Because I need to say I'm sorry." Alina stayed silent. "I was mean to you. I embarrassed you. And I thought it was funny. But it wasn't. It was cruel," Savannah said softly. "When people turned on me, it hurt. But it was nothing compared to what I did to you." Alina looked at her carefully. "Why now?" Savannah hesitated. "Because I saw the comments. I saw the video. And I saw how you never fought back. You just stayed kind. That takes more strength than I've ever had." Alina's heart beat faster. She didn't know if she could fully forgive Savannah, but something about her words felt real. "I'm not looking for pity," Alina said. "I just wanted to be treated like a person." Savannah nodded slowly. "You deserve that." More than I ever gave you. Then she turned and left. Later Rosa picked Alina up from school like always. But this time she had good news too. Savannah's parents had offered to pay for Rosa to take night classes to get certified as a house manager, something she had always wanted but couldn't afford. Are you okay with that? Rosa asked. Alina smiled softly. Yeah, Mom, I think I am. Spring came quickly, bringing sunshine, warmer days, and a new feeling at Belridge Academy. Alina no longer ate lunch in the bathroom. She sat at a small table in the courtyard with Jaden and a few other classmates who had slowly started talking to her. Really talking. Not about money or clothes, but about books, movies, and things that actually mattered. She joined the science club. She raised her hand in class again. She even laughed more. Things weren't perfect. Some students still whispered. Some still judged. But Alina didn't shrink anymore. She had found her voice. One afternoon, Miss Diaz pulled her aside. You've changed a lot this year, she said, smiling. Alina nodded. I had to. And you've grown stronger. Miss Diaz added. That strength, it's going to take you far. Alina believed her. At home things were changing too. Rosa had started her night classes. She was nervous but excited, and Alina helped her study flashcards after dinner. They laughed a lot more now, and there was a new sense of pride between them. Not just about surviving, but moving forward. Savannah kept her distance. She didn't try to be friends, and that was okay. Alina didn't need her apology to erase what happened. What she needed was what she had found. Truth, resilience, and the quiet power of holding on to who she was. The final week of school arrived. Alina stood on the stage during the academic awards ceremony, holding a certificate for top grades in science. She looked out at the crowd and spotted her mom in the back, clapping with tears in her eyes. For the first time since she had come to Belridge, Alina didn't feel like the maid's daughter. She felt like herself. And that was enough. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video to support more powerful stories like this. Comment below, have you ever seen someone rise above bullying or face unfair treatment with strength? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And make sure to subscribe for more emotional, eye-opening stories that reveal the truth behind the smiles.